My name is Kara Warner. I am a freelance journalist. Very lucky to get to write about and talk to a few of the people I'm about to introduce. Because you're not here for me, I would love to introduce writer, director, David Freyne, stars Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Keller.
No. It's supposed to be cold for comedy.
I would love to start with David, like your origin story with the project, kind of when you read the script, when you decided to tackle it and bring in your lovely actors.
Yeah, it was during COVID, sorry. It was like 21, I read the draft that my incredible co-writer Pat had started with from start through, and I just fell in love with it. I had all these ideas, and the idea of this woman's dilemma and choosing between your first love and your oldest love was so compelling. And so I assumed I wouldn't get it because they were meeting actual big people. And I just went into the meeting, kind of decided to tell them everything I liked and disliked and kind of ripped it to shreds. And they seemed to really respond to that. And they offered it to me, and then they gave me like 4 months to do a rewrite. And I was loving it, building the worlds and everything. And then but I kept texting my agent going, they're going to fire me. It's just so different. But again, Pat as well, amazing. They just loved it. And then we started the journey with A24. So yeah.
Nice. How did you bring in your actors?
Like literally, it's the dream cast. Like they're extraordinary in the film. And I think, they were always in my mind. I think there's that holy grail of an actor who can do both comedy and emotion, like being able to make you laugh 1 minute and cry the next. And I just always had a sense that these two could do that brilliantly. Like they could do comedy, and I think we hadn't necessarily seen them go this funny before. So I was really excited to go to them and try them. And it's just, one role at a time, and then you pray they get on and they like each other and they have chemistry. And yeah, thankfully that slowly came together, and they didn't hate each other. And
so far.
Yeah. It's an early tour, but yeah, it was just going for the people you dream of, and it's a gift when they respond to it and they say yes, and then they get on, and that's even better. And then all your anxiety kind of leaves you, because once you know they're great and their chemistry's great, you kind of have a film.
Yeah. For Elizabeth and Miles, was there one particular scene or sequence like in the script that you were kind of dying to tackle or be challenged by, or was it just kind of the overall experience after when you read it?
I think when I read it, it was more about the overall experience. I kind of had me immediately at Larry dying choking on pretzels. I really, truly was reading it thinking, well, that's how my husband's gonna go, girl. And I was really taken by their banter, their humor, but also their love for each other. And it was something that felt timeless, and like it was telling a story that could have existed at any time, yet the take was so contemporary. And I think the eternity almost could only be created for the world today of just like obsessive consumerism and capitalism. The fact that you think you're going to go to the afterlife, there'll be some sort of like spiritual awakening, and it's really just sell.
It's like bureaucratic hell.
Yeah. I really just thought that was such a clever reflection of where we are as a society, so that you could actually just focus on the human relationships.
Yeah. Miles, how about you?
I was really, I think when I read the script, I was really excited for the kind of when we first get into the room and we do the squats and stuff. Yeah. And that was actually the first scene that Lizzie and I shot. The production started, she kind of had her week with Callum and with Luke, and then I came in. That was our first scene, and we really didn't even spend much time together before filming, based on kind of some scheduling stuff. But yeah, that was a great way to kind of jump into it. But I don't know, I feel like I really had a firm grasp on Larry coming into this, and I just really enjoyed the script that highlighted kind of the more mundane moments of a relationship. There's no real, even though it's a high concept, but there's not like gimmicks with this couple. It's really just kind of a repetition of things they've experienced, over those 60-something years.
Yeah, one of the things I love is actors like movement. And I think the thing that you're doing that's so subtle and brilliant, maybe not totally subtle, but don't you feel like they seem kind of old when you first, like in their bodies? I'm just wondering how you kind of work that out. And also like the accent and narrowing in on kind of a more East. Was it a movement you guys kind of settled on, or how did you form those?
I think we spoke about the accent with you.
Yeah.
And we tried to figure out a location, and then we were kind of going off of references.
Yeah, like it was kind of that kind of New York suburb kind of feel for these characters, an Anne Mara type.
Yeah, I was thinking about Anne Mara a lot when we were doing this, looking at old Anne Mara, Jerry Stiller late night bits. Which I now need to see the documentary that's out because I feel like I've really fallen in love with her. But then also when you were talking about accents, I mean, yes, it is a contemporary piece, but you also kind of want to be aware of the form, oh God, sorry, I'm tired. The art that was like the most present in their lives at the
Right.
most, what is the word? I want to say formidable, but that is not.
Formative?
Thank you, God damn it. Formidable, that's wrong, that's
Clap
wrong.
at that. It's a word.
Yeah, but I couldn't find it. And so we were looking at films like Billy Wilder films, and we were looking at other things for like rhythm and speed, and that also informs the character. I think is the time that they're in their 20s and their 30s, and we talked a lot about not being repetitive. Hopefully, like we can only do that bit so many times. Right? You would talk about that.
And I think physicality wise, I think you have these kind of like phantom pains, and kind of your movement gets pretty limited at a certain point, and you really don't know anything different. You're just kind of moving with, I think they said at a certain age, it's about 50% of your physical faculties, your mental kind of acuteness. And so when, I guess in my mind, in the beginning with Larry, even though he's young, it's the afterlife, he can move very freely. It takes him a minute to kind of almost respawn. But then I figured, well, if you were to wake up tomorrow and be, in your prime, when you felt your best, that would really be energizing. And so that was something that I wanted to make sure that it felt this kind of like spunk, this kind of real kind of energized performance to it. And also there's really not a single scene in this where anything should feel casual. For Larry, this is, even though he's dead already, this is life or death. Like, this is the biggest decision. I mean, this is everything. The stakes couldn't be higher. So I guess that was something that I feel like kind of informed a lot of the physicality.
Yeah, it's so impressive, I think. I'm not the actor, I just love to observe and speak with them, but it's just such a fun
Speak
thing.
with them when they're let out of the zoo.
When I'm allowed to. Did you get to meet your older selves and interact with them at all?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were also sending them recordings of some of our scenes that they could know what we sounded like, because we were working before they were. So that was really
We made the
important.
decision to shoot them at the end because I didn't want these guys to feel like a caricature of their older selves. So it was rather the older actors who were incredible, looking at what these guys were doing, looking at scenes they were filming, so they could kind of do older versions of their characters.
Although I pitched, at one point I was really fighting for Lizzie and I to do the prosthetics thing to open the movie. But I think we got lucky.
There's only like one guy in the world who can do that well, and I think that could be that. It's not done amazingly. It's really distracting, and I think there's something with Barry and Betty who open it with such bickering and love that is just so beautiful. And I think there's I think when you jump from old choking Larry to younger there's such an uncanny similarity between them. I think it's extraordinary, and you really took to Barry's voice in his recordings.
Yeah.
I think that kind of slightly fed into your voice as Larry as well. So yeah, it was great.
Was it always a choice or in the script to have kind of the flashback, those not be flashbacks, but be sort of vignettes that were acted?
Yeah. It was always the idea that the archive tunnel was like walking into a diorama, like a natural history museum, where you get to see like miniature plays of of your past life and your favorite memories, and yeah, and the idea that it felt like like tactile, like a stage, felt really nice, and like almost like a idealized version of that memory. And I'm pretty sure the day we shot that, you definitely have like a record for the most hair and makeup and costume changes of anybody.
Wait, you shot them all the same
One
day?
day, yeah. It was extraordinary. Like Liz was just
Wow.
running back and forth.
Yeah, I was like, this wig does
Yeah.
not work.
Yeah.
That was like one of my first days.
It was your first day.
Oh, was it the
Yeah,
first
I think
day?
it was your very, because we shot that
I was like,
really
my
early
hair's
on.
ready.
Yeah, let's go.
I got my jacket on and shoot.
Yeah. And it was a
We
really,
made some babies.
yeah, it was a nice way of kind of breaking in the relationship.
Yeah, it was. And also we didn't know if what we were saying was gonna even make the film.
Yeah.
We didn't know if the improvisation was gonna be MOS or not.
Yeah.
And so it was really just kind of like a time to play and explore.
Yeah, it was very nice.
So you just improv, that all those vignettes are improv?
You had a,
Yeah, there was like vague ideas, and we would give them kind of certain lines, and then you would kind of run with it a bit. Like there's some lovely lines in there, like in the library scene, which are, you just kept going and ad-libbed it, and for some reason you decided you didn't like Dickens.
yeah.
And I was like, are people going to think I don't like Dickens? Like, he's great. But yeah, it was really lovely. Yeah, it was really playful.
Yeah. What about the eternities, David, since I'm assuming a lot of that was your creation and your creative team, was there a most fun aspect of coming up with all of those different ones? Did any on the cutting room
He
floor?
loved it.
Oh my
He
God,
loved
it was just heaven for me. Yeah, I think a lot of them were written into the script. I think the very key ones are all written into the script. And then we had a document. I wrote all the other eternities and the taglines and like little paragraphs on the plane over to Vancouver for pre-production, just so the production design team could start going. And then there was always like, some of them were nixed because they were like not PC or whatever. And
Hey, give us an example.
Yeah.
why don't they get cancelled right now? And yeah, we just kind of kept playing and adding to them, and then like crew members would have ideas, and so it was really, 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 really fun. And I think the thing is, there's jokes, but like there's a truth to them. I think a lot of women would like in a man-free world. It's
Why it was
we put them
overcrowded.
through a lot. So I think there's a kernel of truth to every world, no matter how ridiculous it is. And I think that was really important to us, that it kind of informs something in what we view as happiness, however ridiculous it might be. So yeah, so it was great. It was really, really fun, and we tried to make sure they were characterful and important to the plot.
Yeah. What was the vibe like on set? It seems like a really
Horrific.
fun group. Especially when we talk about Davine and John.
Yeah.
Obviously, we got to talk about Callum a little bit too.
Yeah.
Because I know there were days when you all got to work together. Can you talk a little bit about that and like the jumps?
So those are my
They were the
favorite.
best.
Honestly, whenever we're all together, and the stuff in Joan's room to me was the favorite. It was just everything was firing, and Davine and John are they're just so funny. But yeah, I loved it, and it just the energy in the room was great. I loved those days.
It was very like high school when the five of you were together. The chemistry was like, I think for me.
That's John. John just has a high school energy
Yeah.
about him.
and then we started doing like Italian rehearsals where you just go like bigger, louder, faster. And so like, we were really trying to figure out how to get the cues so that we could have the rhythm without having to rely on editing at all. And so that was really like fun and chaotic. And you do feel like you're in high school and you do stuff like that.
Was the John and Davine relationship always in the script?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I love it.
Originally, they were gender flipped, and they weren't. It wasn't quasi-sexual, and I was like, thank God I get it on. Like, they deserve it. And they were always quite present. But I think once John and Davine came into the picture, you just want to write more for them. You want to give them more. So there's that beautiful scene where they're walking into the waking up junction. And I wrote that during production just because these guys had this big, heavy scene, and you felt like you needed a breath. And it felt like the perfect moment to just have the two of them, question their roles.
Right? Perfect couple, right? Didn't question it. I was like, oh, of course, that works. I would like to see more of them. I would love you to talk about some of your influences, because there's a lot of beautiful nods to, there's been some stories about what happens in the afterlife.
Yeah, no, there has. I think for me, the biggest two influences are A Matter of Life and Death by Pelham Pressburger and Billy Wilder's The Apartment. There was always like kind of a mashup of those two. It's like I studied production design in my master's, and I did my thesis on films that invoke two worlds. So it was Matter of Life and Death, A Wizard of Oz, like Caligari. So it was like I always wanted to do a film where I get to create my own afterlife. So this really was kind of literally Christmas for me. It was incredible. And I think they were the big kind of visual references, but Preston Sturges and Lubitsch, and that kind of old school screwball comedy was huge for me. Films that weren't afraid to have big laughs and go to dark places, but with a lightness of touch that I think we don't often see now. So yeah, I think they were the big tonal touchstones for us. And then visually, the Graduate was massive in the cinematography for me and my cinematographer Rory. That was a huge one. And Agnes Varda, her document. I'll stop mentioning films.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
This is a Los Angeles audience. They love those references. I also really love, rom-com. I think all of us love a great rom-com, and this film has such great romance and comedy. Can you talk just a little bit about the fun of exploring both of those as actors? Because it's very genuine.
I mean, you have to be aware of like genres that have come before, of course, and then we're trying to find and strike like the right tone for it all to exist. I think we were trying to figure out like what are the grounded moments and let's just lean into them. But even when we do that, there has to be something funny. So even with like the Judgment Day, it's a very serious, hard thing to do, but the way it's set up is very funny with John going off on all the different types of bonds.
Like The Bachelor too.
Yeah.
She's made her decision.
Yeah, and they really like lean into the bit that they're doing, and you think so there's like it's almost like a false start of something that's going to be precious, and then you like kind of allow it to drop down into something that means something. And so it is, I guess, that balance of allowing it to mean something and not being scared of sincerity. I think there's a lot of art or films and TV where I think we're right now kind of scared of sincerity because we're in such a cynical time. And so it's about at least knowing that we will relieve this with a joke and there will be some humor around the corner, but let's allow this to be come from like a real place at least. So I guess maybe that was the balance.
Yeah, I think it was really important that the jokes were big. I think I kind of sometimes lack hard comedy. And I think that doesn't negate the emotion. I think sometimes that opens you up to cry. And I think that's really where sometimes the closer the joke is to the heartfelt like tragedy, the harder that hits. So I think we really embrace that in the writing and then in the production and with these guys. I think that was really important that we were never afraid of absurdity close to sincerity.
Yeah, I felt like sincere, but also grounded and genuine. I didn't feel any cliches in that sense. How are you feeling about talking about the film now and how people are receiving it? Now that you're sort of lightly showing it tomorrow.
I mean, it's amazing. Like you really sad when you finish a film because it's such a joyous time. We had such a great time making this, but it's really exciting to now start having eyeballs on it and seeing it with an audience. And I think for me, having seen it a couple times with people, feeling the laughter in a room or feeling the sniffles, I think feeling that really lovely audible reaction has been incredible. So yeah, it's great, and getting the kind of different debates and conversations as to whether she made the right choice or should have stuck with Karen in Fake Paris.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, that's a great option also.
But also at the few of these screenings that we've had afterwards, people you can tell people kind of partner off or they want to talk to you about their life or their parents or grandparents or this and that, and it's a really heartwarming movie, and I think it makes you think about, it very much makes you think about your own life in a really wonderful way. I enjoy those kinds of films where you can just feel it afterwards. So yeah, it's been really wonderful. We just did a screening at the Motion Picture Retirement Home.
Yeah, the motion
That was beautiful. Yeah, that was so beautiful. I love old people.
Also, this crowd also knows about the MPTF. Didn't you all find it like thinking about what eternity you would choose also? And like 7 days to choose it is pretty brutal. So I totally understand the choice.
You get a job. You can
Get a job.
you just get a shittier room.
Nice. How are we doing on time? I lost my outline. Good? Oh, good. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up? Tell your friends.
Well, thank you for
Buy a
coming out
ticket.
tonight.
Yeah.
I was surprised with such a full house. It's time to take also out of it.
Thank you so much.
They're taking you to New York next, so we'll see them in New York. Enjoy, stay warm.
Thank you
Thanks.
guys. It'd be
Thanks
nice
all
to
for
hear
staying.
your space.
Thank you.